Hi, this is Tony Sagami. Hey, I want to talk to you about India this week. India is a topic we don't talk about enough, and we should because it is the third largest economy in Asia behind Japan and China, and its economy is red hot. They recently released their third quarter GDP numbers. They were really impressive. The Indian economy grew by 8.9% in the third quarter. That's pretty darn impressive. And it's not an aberration either. India grew by an identical 8.9% in the second quarter this year, and as this company chart shows, the Indian economy has been on a roll for several years, and I don't expect that to slow down. Now let me put that in perspective, that 8.9%. The 16-nation Eurozone economies have grown by an average of 1.9%, pretty weak, and the US, by comparison, was up 2.5%. So as you can see, India is growing 3, 4, 5 times faster than its Western counterparts. As a matter of fact, the Indian economy is so strong that India's central bank has raised interest rates 6 times already this year, 6 times. So they see the warning signs of inflation, and they're taking responsible action to thwart that. That's quite a contrast to what we see in the U.S., where our central bank is flooding the economy with money, doing more quantitative easing, and doing everything they can to fuel inflation and debauch our currency. But nonetheless, there's also some other evidences, signs of the Indian prosperity. For example, Tata Motors, India's largest auto company, sold a record 183,000 cars in the month of October. Indian banks have loaned out 22% more money this year, and like fuel for a car, money supply is what greases the skids of the economy, and India's is growing quite well. Now, that growth has found its way into the stock market. If you take a look at this chart, you'll see how the Indian market has outperformed both China and the U.S. over the last 12 months. That type of relative performance is something you should be very sensitive about. Now, if you did want to add some India to your portfolio, there's several ETFs you could take a look at. The first is the iPath MSCI India Fund. That ticker is INP. Ticker is INP. There's also the Wisdom Tree India Earnings Fund. That ticker is EPI. EPI. The PowerShares India ETF, ticker is PIN, and the iShares India Index, ticker is INDY, INDY. Now, if you wanted to take a more rifle shot approach, there's about a dozen Indian stocks that are listed here on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. I mentioned Tata Motors above earlier. That's one of them. That ticker symbol is TTM, TTM, Tata Motors. There's the outsourcing software giant Infosys Technologies from India, and that ticker is INFY, INFY. One of the largest bank in India is ICICI Bank, and that ticker is IBN, IBN. And Sterlite Industries, the largest copper producer in India, and that ticker is STL, STL. So as you can see, there's no shortage of Indian options, and of course, none of them require any fancy brokerage account. You can buy them with any brokerage account in the country for very low prices. So take a look at India. It's a country that's well worth your attention. Until next week, this is Tony Sagami signing off.